It's me, Chucky. My mommy is the best. Super mom will be next. She helps mommy get their smiles back, their giggles back, and their sparkle back. You wait for the straw. Whoosh. Get ready for it's super slippery and super strong.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Healing for the Soul podcast. It is your go-to resource for parents and want-to-be parents who strive for success without sacrificing connection and well-being. Each episode delivers actionable strategies and inspiring insights to help you build emotional intelligence and resilience for yourself and for your family. Strengthen relationships with yourself, your partner, and your children. Master parenting as an entrepreneur, even while raising young children. Discover life and parenting hacks that simplify your journey. Explore hypnosis and other healing modalities for a deeper transformation. This podcast isn't just about parenting and a fertility journey. It's about creating harmony, wealth, and alignment in every area of life. Let's get started. This is season 6, and I am your host, Supermom Robin Stoltman. And today's guest is Melanie Smithson. She is a licensed somatic psychotherapist, a business owner, a certified spiritual integration hypnotherapist, and an award-winning author of Stress-Free in 30 Seconds, a slightly irreverent approach to navigating life's challenges, and the soon-to-be-released Shake Yourself Free, 81 somatic practices to let go of limitation. She has a great compassion for and simultaneously finds comedic relief in the human experience.
Perfect.
Body holds the wounds from the past, and for an effective release, we must engage the body. Where the mind hesitates or pretends to let go, the body is happy to shake, rattle, and roll its way to freedom. This is Shelby.
That was a mouthful, huh?
Oh, yeah, tongue twister. Don't ask about the seashells. All right. Thank you so much, Melanie, for being here with our audience.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Just wondering about like the shake yourself free. What is that? Because I immediately think about like a dog, like when they're they get attacked. You see them shake right away.
Yes.
And then I've had that experience like when I've stood up for myself and I immediately start shaking.
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
Yes. Yes. So when dogs shake, and this is pretty well known out in the wild or even just our, animals at home, they are clearing trauma through shaking. And it's such a wise practice because if you think about how agitated your system gets when either, for us people, verbal attacks, physical attacks, any of it, the body starts to actually internally start to shake. And that's what you recognize, that little bit of this. But when we can actually lean into that and make it bigger, it can move what's being held. So shaking in and of itself is a phenomenal practice. My book has 81 body practices that include shaking and bouncing. Now, especially with a baby, just like bouncing when you're feeling agitated, the baby will be happy, you'll be happy, things will start to shift.
Yeah.
So leaning into what the body naturally knows that many of us got talked out of.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the things that is so disturbing to me is when I hear, what I know about children being told to sit still. Whether it's in the classroom, whether it's at home, sitting still is not a good emotional practice.
No, I'm the one that my mom's like, can't you sit still? My husband to this day, can't you sit still? No, I gotta move. I gotta keep going. If I don't, it's like, then everything starts to hurt. And I can't explain that. Yes, I've had like fibromyalgia I got rid of with hypnosis. Got rid of, thank God I did. I'm just saying, like, with all the 8 kids, I can't imagine what they'll be like now. I'm just
Right.
It's like you get rid of the things like when you move, like arthritis, people freeze up because you
Yeah.
stop moving. So I
Right.
definitely agree with you on that one. I don't tell my kids to sit still. I
Yeah.
never told
Good.
them about stranger danger either, but the kids started learning that from school, and I was like, don't be telling them the opposite. We're all strangers. I talk to strangers all the time, but they don't
Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
Those things. And like I'm thinking about like when you said about for like the shaking part, I'm like, yeah, a person feels it. But then like I've started like my body will just start shaking like
Yeah.
physically.
Right.
Then I stop, and now you're saying that that's the opposite. It's
Yes.
supposed to make it bigger.
Yes. Making it bigger. What happens when any sensation arises, whether it's shaking, whether it's pain in the neck or the chest, we have a tendency to contract or to try and push down the sensation. So, shaking certainly in our society is not seen as normal. What is that person doing sitting and shaking in the subway? They must be crazy. And why is that person's leg that high? Why is that person's arm up? It's like, this is the range of movement. These are the postures that are allowed. And that confinement that happens because of fear of looking weird is not good. What happens is we hold what's trying to move through the body. Instead of giving it space to move, we're trying to compress it. And that compression actually makes it more intense.
So
That makes sense?
Yeah, because I'm thinking my neck's been hurting. Like I've been experiencing more tension, more stress than normal.
Right.
And my body's been so tight and tense. I'm like, it just hurts just to move just a little bit, like especially in my neck.
Yeah. So, one of the things you can do, even right now,
Yeah.
you can just notice, not even shaking, you can just notice, wow, this feels really tight. Could I soften to that sensation? Could I open? Could I imagine letting it have some space? And even that practice, rather than trying to make it go away, is going to transform it. So, I actually think of it kind of like, pearls and clams. It's like, you might think of it, or oysters, right?
Yeah.
This pain is, right here. And instead of opening my hands so the pain can move, I clamp down. When I clamp down, I'm holding it in my body. And emotions that get held in the body
Make us sick.
actually start to create physical havoc. And it happens to us as adults in any given moment, but it frequently happens as children when, for whatever reason, you're not allowed to feel your feelings, whether you had a parent that said, it's not okay to be angry, or they laughed at you, which my parents did. I got laughed at for my redhead temper, which I used to be a redhead. But then you start to say, oh, it's not okay to be angry. It's not okay to be sad. It's not okay to feel this feeling. And it may be because somebody said something, or it may be because of what was being modeled, or maybe because somebody else in the house felt more important, or they were sick. But as children, when we don't learn how to sequence our feelings, we store them in the body.
No, that makes sense. Because like one of the things for me is I was immediately thinking about like in the home growing up, it wasn't safe at all. So that's like I gave up. I'm like 39, and I'm just like earlier this week, I'm like, you know what? I just give up on needing to feel safe. I'm like, it's an illusion anyway. I'm never gonna feel safe, and that's okay. I don't have to. And I'm like, I can give myself safety. It's just an illusion anyway.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm thinking about like the memory for childhood, about how it was so angry, like the childhood.
We're angry, yeah.
There was a lot of anger in the household.
Right.
So much that if my sister and I were to play or have fun or laugh, it was immediately shut down.
Right.
You could not be happy. You could not experience joy. You could not do any of that. And I
Right.
remember one of the things I told myself was that I will never be a dead adult. And I call the dead adults the ones that don't do anything
Don't have any
anymore.
joy. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to be around these type of people at all whatsoever, but I still attract them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to be around them. I want
Yeah.
to be around people that are happy and joyful, but yet I have trouble getting there. And then when you said that, I'm like, it's because of the household. Like the
Yes.
body kept
Yes.
all that.
Yes. Because the mind, and this is where the body is so important, because the mind can say, I want this.
Yeah.
But the body is holding the old trauma and going, that's not safe. That's not safe. That's not safe.
That's exactly what's happening.
Right. So as you start to feel into what doesn't feel safe, even though I love what you're telling yourself, that there's no such thing as safety anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come back to the body and the trauma and moving it. But when we recognize that all of the wanting to feel safe actually creates more of a feeling of insecurity and lack of safety.
That's all it's done. And then
right.
I'm like, I just want to let go of that.
Right. But the best way to let go of it is to reconnect to what's held in the body, maybe child parts that felt like I'm going to get in trouble for being joyful. And if you feel like it, what I would do is I would actually go into that. I would go into feeling, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble, and make a game of that, because that will support movement.
I've never even thought of that, because I'm just like, I'm so good with kids. Obviously, I got a lot of them, but I'm like, right. I'm so good with kids because I'm like, make everything into a game.
Yes.
But I never even thought about making it into a game with myself, because I love playing games. There's a stupid game, but because poverty was such a good thing. My parents had money, like they're middle class. Back when I was a kid, it was middle class. But it's like they were just so hard and like angry, and they talked about poverty all the time, about being poor. I'm like, well, maybe this is a good thing. So I would play a game like I'm poor, going to get choke cherries off the tree, because I was told. I didn't know any better. I was a kid. But it was like one of the things I liked to do.
Yes.
And as an adult, my body's like, hey, this sounds like a fun game. Let's still do this. And I'm like, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Right.
So if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is to feel the game that I don't want to play anymore.
Yes.
And turn it into a game but then change the meaning.
It will naturally transition.
Oh, on its own, without having to give a different meaning.
Right. So movement, and this is the thing, this is one of the basic premises of dance movement therapy, which is what my degree is in, is movement is like a wave. It has a complete sequence. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And when that sequence gets interrupted is when we feel like we're holding trauma. So like in a car accident, it's a really good example. You're driving, and when you get hit, what the body wants to do is something like that. What the body does is this. And for anybody who's listening, what I'm showing is when the body wants to move, but what it does is it gets stiff instead. And that's what locks the trauma in from car accidents. Same thing from childhood, is not completely letting that movement sequence. So when we can actually get in touch with what's here, what's been held, and start playing with it, it's going to show us how it wants to move to transition into something different.
That's like that just sounds like the car accident. My sister took it. She severe whiplashed my neck that said something ticked her off. I can't remember what it is, and I don't care to remember. All I know is I'm like, I just want the pain that goes from my right arm to my neck to stop.
Yes.
But then, like what you said, is I took my seatbelt off, but I did go forward at 10 miles an hour. You can still almost go through a windshield. Just want to put that out there. It's possible. But that's what almost did happen. So I put my arm out to stop myself.
Yes.
My body, of course, went forward, but
yes.
then I got shoved backwards.
Yes.
10 miles an hour. I was shocked. That's why I keep like.
Yeah.
But it's like the body is still holding on to it. And I can tell that it is because when I've had acupuncture or I've had dry needling done, I still feel it. And the body's like, I just want to let go of this already. But now you're saying just the finishing the sequence of the movement of listening to my body, of what it wants to do to let it go. Would like the movement help stop persistent thoughts then too that people may have?
Yeah. So, it's cool. One of the chapters in my book is moving through those beliefs and thoughts with movement, because so often we have a thought that just won't go away. And it's like, oh, shut up already, but it just keeps going, right? And again, the resistance to anything is going to hold it in place.
Yeah, it creates more.
So if with the thought, there's so many ways to play with it, but one would just be like, and blah, 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 So, and actually I would do that instead of using the actual words that are recycling. It's like, you could use, well, Melanie, if you don't do this, you're going to happen. And if you don't do this, so let it whine like a, like it's on.
No, that's what I've been doing.
A record player, an old record player. But again, like, because that's what it is like, if you go into, okay, I'm going to wind with the thoughts. I'm just going to let myself wind myself up. And maybe I'll unwind myself. Maybe I'll go the other way and see what happens. So that would be one way to start to play with thoughts. You can also bounce. You can imagine bouncing your thoughts. And if you have the ability to physically bounce, I have found it's really difficult to hold on to a thought while I'm bouncing.
That's kind of like me, like when I put my chin to chest.
Yeah.
Because I learned a release technique. And it was really weird, but like they said, it's true. Like the second you put the chin to the chest, all the thoughts that you were thinking, they have to stop, like immediately. And it's really weird because it's like the body keeps score, like that's a book, but then also like what you're saying here at the same time, like the body is holding on to it. So like the second you drop them, it's like it can't keep spitting out the same repeat thoughts. And I like what you said about like for the blah, blah, blah part, because I'm like, that's what I've been doing. I've gotten so frustrated the one day. I'm like, I just went off doing like what you said. Because I'm like, sometimes you just can't get those thoughts to stop.
Right. And another way actually to play that with that is if it's, a specific thought, if it's, I'm not good enough, or I'm not allowed to do that, actually leaning into that. So, and in fact, I had a session, I have a client with a 6-year-old, and out of nowhere, the 6-year-old started saying, I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough. And I was like, where is this coming from, So I suggested that she start asking him, instead of saying, why do you think that? Or showing, it's like, what does that look like? Show me what not good enough looks like. And that she said, and she did it. And it was really cool because it started to become a game, which loosened the thought.
I'm thinking about this for my kids.
So with a 6-year-old, if a 6-year-old says, well, I'm stupid. And it's like, really? Let me see what stupid looks like. So that just takes them out of whatever path they've gotten on. But with adults, let's just say, the thought is, you're just never going to be as good as so-and-so. So what does it feel like in my body? What's the posture that goes with, I'm not going to be as good as so-and-so? So I'm going to stop and I'm going to check and I'm going to feel into it. And it's like, what does that feel like? And it's like, well, I'm not good enough. 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 I'm not good enough Oh, there's a little collapse. There's a little bit of kind of looking towards somebody else because I'm comparing myself, right? So first I'm finding what movement, what posture matches that thought.
Kind of like with the depression, because everybody knows how to do depression.
Right, right.
That's the
And
immediate
then,
thought I thought of. But then when you said about like for the not good enough, I was like, oh, because it's the same thing as depression. Like you just do the same thing.
they're similar, yeah. So what does it feel like? And specifically, it's like you want to take a moment to check in with yourself, because I didn't even find that looking towards another until I started to say, okay, I'm comparing myself. That means I'm looking out at someone else, right? And then I might ask myself, well, if you didn't feel that, if you felt just as good as them, what would that look like? Well, I might start to sit a little bit more centered in myself, And what would it look like if I felt better than them? Oh, then I would puff out my chest. And then I might just go back and forth between like, I'm not as good, I'm better than, I'm just the same, and just play with all those different options in the body to see where I land. And it's possible when I do that, it will also flush something else up. It could flush up a childhood memory. It could flush up a thought of something I forgot to do. It could, but again, the mind doesn't have all the answers.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, the mind doesn't have, the mind's really good with math and science, but like when it comes to the psyche, when it comes to the future, asking the mind is not a good idea.
No, it's like dumb.
No, because the mind always wants to be the hero.
Yeah. And it's like,
So it's going to create a problem so that it can be the one that fixes it.
yeah, because that makes sense. Because I'm like, the mind is so great at creating problems, like you said, but it's not so good at creating the solutions. Like if you want to
No.
create a solution, you got to listen to your heart.
Yes.
The heart creates the solutions.
Yes.
That's why I'm like, sometimes I think the brain is just like, it's an organ, it's there, but it's like the heart and the stomach always know, and those are the body.
Yeah, it's funny. The stomach actually, I don't know if you have heard of Candace Pert. She wrote the book Molecules of Emotion. Unfortunately, she passed some years ago, but she was really one of the first to start really talking about how the body holds emotions. And it's not in the head, it's all over. It's like it's in our chest, it's in our stomach, it's in our legs, every place we can hold emotions. But there's an abundance of emotional receptor sites in the stomach. So when we talk about gut feelings, it's not made up. I mean, that's what happens. We feel stuff in our gut and in our chest and in our legs and in our arms. And in this society, we deny that and we default to the mind and intellect. And yeah, I almost went down a path about those that preach that emotions should be avoided. But
oh no,
we'll skip that.
Well, no, I'm my kids, like I said, they're learning some of the opposite things that I've wanted them to believe. Like in school, it's nothing wrong. Like they're going to private school, but still, even at that, they're learning like the stranger danger thing. I never taught them that because it's not necessary. And why do I think it's not
depending
necessary?
on where you're living. So, it's like there are certain things that you want to teach children to be aware of, but how do you
like,
do that without instilling fear?
Yeah. But the everyday stranger, they're not going to sit here and, like you and I were strangers. And it's like,
Right.
I want my kids to take in, be talking, like
Right.
listen to themselves if there's something that doesn't seem right.
Right.
Children, they're extremely intuitive.
Right.
More so than adults because they haven't been, depending upon how you parent, you're not shut down. And that's
the layers of programming.
Yes. So that's why that's why I say that for like the stranger danger part. But then also like, that's why a lot of them don't like to talk on phones or they don't like to talk to people. And it's like, well, because you're an adult now and now you want to learn a new skill, you're going to have to get rid of some of that programming. There's an example of one. But I'm also thinking at the same time, about how, like, when we've got kids, like what you said, we're told to sit still. We're not allowed to feel. Like I was trying to teach my son about for music. Like you can feel music. You don't have to have the words.
Right.
You can feel it. And I'm like, you
Right.
can feel it in your body. Like if it's
Yes.
a happy song, if it's a sad
Yes.
song. And when I was teaching him that, it's like the light bulb clicked on that I'm like, see, you're a real musician because you're learning how to do things. You're paying attention. And I says, when you do that, like you're starting to feel it in your body. And I'm like, where do you feel it in your body? And he was telling me different places. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, then you just want to keep playing with that area. Because I'm like, that's where your body is like, we're going. Like me, I talk with my hands a lot. So I'm just wondering what role does the body play then in the emotional health? Because like I'm not doing it with my kids, and I hate it when parents do it when they sit there and say big girls don't cry or big boys don't cry. Oh, I just want to smack people. I'm just, but God, it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of like me with my body.
Yeah.
I just want to hit something,
No, one
but
of
I don't want to
my
get to heaven and
classmates
explain.
had a daughter in second grade. I think she was 7 when her teacher told them, "Oh, you're big kids now. We don't play anymore." And I was pretty disturbed about that. So I'll combine kind of play and movement together. We are actually designed to play throughout our lifetimes. We are what they call neotenous creatures, which means we're physically designed to keep playing. And, all of our greatest inventors and scientists were players because through play, we explore and create and we allow. And when we cut that off as adults, we have really cut ourselves off from source because all that we are is creativity and joy. And we shut that down so fast. And I mean, I think it's a tragedy. But the question about what part does the body play in healing emotions, it's everything. And my teacher, some almost 30 years ago now, said that psychotherapy, that she thought that in 20 years, psychotherapy without the body was going to be considered unethical. And we're not there yet, but God, I hope we get there. Because as we were talking about, we store emotions in the body. And trying to talk yourself out of what you feel doesn't work.
No, that's why I think like hypnosis works so much better
Yes.
than other methods. And I've told people that. I'm like, if you want to go fast at healing yourself,
Yes.
that's why hypnosis works and
Yes.
not the traditional talking about it. I'm like, if
Yes.
you're talking about it, problem gets bigger.
Yes.
You want to
Hypnosis. So hypnosis, it's funny because I graduated from Naropa with my degree in 97. And it was about 10 years later, 2005, 2006, that I got trained in hypnosis. And it was such a beautiful match because both somatic work and hypnosis work is about getting past the conscious mind. What's below that, what's really here, and that's in the body. And hypnosis will take you into that. So, yes.
well, yeah, because I'm like, and like one of the things that I've tried to do was I'm like, so like to get my goals, I've always had like, it's a red ball that I see. Like I was taught this that, and as a child psychologist that I had seen when I was a teen. And it's kind of funny because it's like I never thought about it until after being an adult because I had somebody ask me like, why is it when you say you don't have something, but then yet you still get it? Like it still happens. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I've like always see like this red ball because I remember like this red ball. I'd have something, I'd be getting closer to it. There'd be a red ball, and then it would be there. And then I'd move it a little bit close or a little bit farther away. So I would keep doing the actions, keep taking the actions until I got that red ball. And it's really weird, but like everything I've wanted is like a red ball. But then when I tried to change the ball to a blue ball, My brain's like, we don't like this blue ball. Get it out of here. But it was kind of funny because it's like in hypnosis, it's like what you said. It's like blue for me is like pain. Like when pain's going out, it's a blue ball. And I'm like, the brain is just so amazing because it's like you're right on like how it's like it lets go of different
Yes. Yes. And when you start to recognize that the body is here to support you, to be an ally in your healing,
yeah,
then you can go through the world differently in your relationship with your body. But so many people see the body as the enemy and, complain about it as if it's separate from self. And it's weird, I think, because, so many people are talking about body, mind, soul integration. And Course in Miracles, which I do teach, says I'm not the body, which 100%. But I am in a body and the body is here to support me. So to try and deny it and pretend like it's not here because I'm not that, it's like, I get in my car every day. I'm not the car, but the car gets me places.
true. And then I was also thinking like when I've had like when I had died, I've had a death experience, and then I've came back. I'm like, I left my body.
Yes.
And I remember that, like, that felt so good.
Yes.
I'm just so good going up.
Yes.
Like, I cared for a split second about what was going on.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I was gone. And then when I got slammed back down on my body, it hurt. And it's like to feel like that human again. It felt like sludge and slime and gross.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yes.
I want to go back to that because I felt
Yes.
good with that. And after I've had that experience, I want to go back to that.
I understand.
I said, it felt so good. And it's like, I have not been able to replicate it. No matter what I've done, I can't replicate what it felt. Like the warmth, the love, it just felt.
So the hypnosis work I do is past life and life between lives hypnosis.
Oh, between lives. Okay.
Life between lives. In the life between lives, we actually go through the death scene from a prior life and cross over into that space that you visited in the near-death experience. And so I work with people all the time that go to that place that you're trying to replicate. Yeah. And the first time I did an LBL myself, what was so profound was that experience of feeling unconditionally loved. Yeah. It's like we don't know how to do that in bodies. Yeah. And what happened for me is remembering that, knowing that, having just that momentary experience of it was like, Melanie, no matter how bad you think you're messing up this life, you are still going to be loved and everything is fine.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like an unconditional love that just feels so warm. Like, you can't explain like what heaven looks like. And it's colors here, but it's so much brighter.
Yes.
Like everything is
people are often saying, I can't describe it. It's so vivid. There are no words for this because it's beyond what our mind can take in.
Yeah,
so,
it definitely is.
Yeah. It's funny that, it's like, I always, when people tell me they had near-death experiences, I'm like, oh, you're so lucky.
Well, except for the going down part. I did not like that falling, the falling backwards feeling and the coming back into my body. That was
coming back in. I was like, no. I
almost wonder if that was God saying, you know what, you need to detox or something. Just too much toxicity. I don't know. Who knows? But when does your book come out? And what's the best way for our audience to get in contact with you?
So the book is being officially released on January 13th. It's available for pre-order now on Amazon, or the best place to go is actually to my website, smithsonclinic.com, and /podcast will take listeners to a free chapter and the table of contents. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that we were talking about these different things, because I'm like, this is very much like I'm hoping like that the psychology part goes away. I really, really do. I think
Well, is
more.
psychology including the body?
Yes, yes. They that's what I'm talking is that they need
Yeah.
to get rid of just the mind part. They need to look at the body as a whole. Even in doctors, they need to look at the body as a whole. They can't look at just,
Yeah. No,
oh,
we
you
have a
got
long way to
cholesterol,
go in the
good
medical
job.
profession in this country.
Yes, yes. That's where I'm like, that's all I'm getting at is like they need to include both.
Yeah.
Because if you're treating just one area, the rest of it's still like, hey, I'm here. Like,
I know. And it's very interesting how, so much of traditional medicine in this country is this is my lane, this is your lane, as if you could separate even, the I had a doctor so many years ago tell me that the ear had nothing to do with the neck after getting results from being an adjustment from the chiropractor for ear ringing. Oh, that's ridiculous. And it's like, it's ridiculous that you think that's ridiculous. But we've got people that specialize in the ear, and then they specialize in the endocrine system, and then they specialize in the brain. And it's like, and then they don't meet, never mind recognizing that emotions are held in the body. I mean, I went to a dermatologist not that long ago who was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I'm like, how do you not know that? And it's not his fault, but it's not taught. That's the system.
yeah, it's amazing. Like I said, so it's just that's why it's kind of like in business, you can't separate. Oh, I
Right.
do this, I do this, and I do this. No, I do all the things you
I do
just
it
don't
all. I do
see.
all the things.
Yeah, yeah. We're just multi-talented, that's all. But no, I appreciate it so much. And you said the easiest way for audience to get your book that comes out January 13 for 2026 is on your website.
Yeah,
That or
smithsonclinic.com/podcast. Or go to Amazon and pre-order now.
awesome. As always, I just want to thank you for your time and energy while listening to today's episode of Healing for the Soul podcast. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Healing for the Soul podcast wherever you get your downloads, you're listening to your podcasts, and keep coming back for more episodes. Thank you, everyone, for your time and your energy while listening to today's episode of Healing for the Soul podcast, which also can be found on YouTube.